Chapter 10, Deception of the Human Senses. All of your behaviors are based on internal models you have created based on your life's experiences, the way you process them, and the basic manner the conscious and subconscious and limbic system work anyway. They work with no say from you, no knowledge of your conscious, just based on the functions and processes they do of their own for your processing. Boundaries are internal beliefs we may not even be aware of consciously. The boundary beliefs are directly connected to our capability responses. Self-limiting boundaries regarding our capabilities create powerful negative states of being. The effects that the mind and the emotions have on the body is apparent in numerous examples. We are whole beings, and each whole element of our being affects other elements of our whole being. Processing higher levels, abstract functions. When a person is asked a question, they are processing in a field within about 2 seconds. Noticing anybody gesture or position in that area of field can help you identify the sense they are processing to get their information from. The second question gets you to resources. Whatever the second question is to the person, the subconscious is processing for the answer or the resources for the answer. It is impossible to even be consciously aware of a question without the answer already existing in the brain as well. Just as this is true that you cannot have a problem without having the solution to the problem. Even if the conscious isn't yet aware of the answer or the resources or solutions, the brain is, and knowing the fields of conscious can help you consciously discover the resources. Know thyself. Our inner world should not be a mystery. If we are strangers to ourselves, we are just strange. Others cannot learn more of man's wisdom and teach based on man's wisdom about our inner selves. We already know about our inner selves, and the mystery is no mystery at all. It's just a matter of accessing ourselves based on our inner workings. No reason to be strange, for there are many things that we know about ourselves, and new things are being learned all the time. Knowing the way we function by nature opens us to knowing all of our true inner self. We have all had different experiences and perceived differently. We are each uniquely different, limitless individuals. The more we seek analytical wisdom of others, the less we will know of ourselves. To know the way the brains and body works, its models, functions, processes, is a new self-knowledge of our own models, concepts, and processes. Some things we know and have known for decades, such as the conscious functions. Subconscious functions processes meta-programs. The word meta comes from a Greek word meaning global, about the 3rd grade. Our meta-programs get an organizational program intact in them. The different human senses have different meta-programs they function with in the subconscious. As soon as the generalization is established, the brain puts a symbol in to represent the generalization. Generalizations can be changed by scrambling the symbols, shifting the symbols, going on the TDS to the event, emotions, triggering the generalization. The subconscious and different human senses all have different meta-programs. Some meta-programs are non-changeable, and there is no process available to change them. Other meta-programs can be changed and are actually chosen at a young age when we establish our other subconscious processes and programs. Meta-programs are the manner in which a person's subconscious processes its information for the conscious access of the information. The master computer that the subconscious is cannot do anything without programs in it to operate it. Meta-programs are the information processing programs for our subconscious. The following is a list and examples of different meta-programs used and or available in the subconscious. They are the structure of what we are consciously aware, our reasons for being consciously aware of what, and our interpretations of our awareness. Any conscious experiences we have are because of the meta-programs operating in our master computer. In order to understand, to change any of our conscious experiences, whether personal or interpreted, we must first understand the programs running these experiences. The subconscious processes everything on a TDS, a transderivational search. This is represented by time, past, present, and future. The first and fourth sense processed in this order by the subconscious are used as reference sense for the subconscious. These are considered preferred senses by the subconscious, the sense that the conscious keeps referring to in its thought. The other senses basically serve as committee chairman for the first and fourth senses. The second and fifth sense fired through the subconscious are referred to the subconscious as crusher senses or decision senses. These are the two primary senses the conscious considers most important for its decision-making aspects in the conscious focus. The third and sixth sense fired in the subconscious TDS are the motivator senses, the senses that the conscious is referring to get it motivated to continue to do things to feel motivated. A field is defined as a region of space characterized by a physical property. Human beings are a physical property and therefore exist within a field. This field is what we call consciousness. Yet there is very little the average human has been told about their field of consciousness. Analyzing the human being does not identify the field of consciousness. Understanding the way the human elements function and work together helps to understand the human field of consciousness. Each aspect of being human has intelligence in it. Our internal organs, each living cell, our body's our central nervous system, our chemical systems, our senses, conscious and subconscious, is living with its own intelligence, processes, and functions. The different fields of consciousness work together. They are similar in functions. They correspond together, and they are unified together and resonate together and from each other. Each person's conscious field is identifiable and understandable to the trained human being. An individual's level of personal development and even intelligence can be measured and increased just by one's ability to perceive this field in him, her, self, and others. The human conscious field is known as the mind field. The mind field consists of three major areas of being human. 1, mental. 2, emotional. 3, physical. As human beings, we are like a computer system, only much more complicated. We receive data through our human senses. The subconscious receives this data based upon the first field, mental field. This puts all data received immediately in the past and gives it value, meaning, idea, and reason. This is based upon the sense of sound and sight with the meta-programs, functions, and elements associated with these senses. The information, data, is then processed and stored as models, beliefs, and memories based upon the second field, emotional field. This puts processing and program models into our emotional responses in our present time regarding our actions, relationships, and other elements and functions of the sense of touch and energy. The subconscious transmits these program models from the received and processed data through the third mind field, physical field. This places the process of transmission into our future of our behaviors, strategies, beliefs about character, and processes with other functions and elements of the sense of taste and smell. We process this internally as information. We store this information as models, beliefs, and memories. We transmit this information through our language and our behaviors. This is the way all our language and behaviors are based on internal models and processes we have created ourselves. This is the means of shifting our internal models, then shifts our behavior and vice versa, just as shifting our language can shift our internal models. Each one of the senses have a positive and negative sequence. Going neutral causes a stop in the firing order, and the positive or negative changes depending on which it was before the neutral. Disengaging in a position of something or not being aligned or engaged with either side causes a complete change between positive and negative, based upon what it was prior to the disengagement. Mental. Past, intent, identity, time, thoughts in the form of images and sounds and internal dialogues. Sound. Deletes by comparison matching. Sound information deleted by the subconscious is not discarded. The subconscious deletes the information that doesn't fit based on the individual's current mind or mental state. Deleted information is kept in holding until it has enough information from conscious to create a new generalization. Detail-oriented asks and knows what values, ethics, ideas, honoring self. Sound and its processes are subjective. The dictionary defines subjective as proceeding form or taking place in a human's mind rather than the external world, personal subjective. Quantum leap is right, intent. Sight deletes by contrast. Again, deleted information is not destroyed. It is kept in holding until conscious gives subconscious enough information to make a new generalization. Asks and knows why. Scope-oriented ideas, reasons, and concepts. Quantum leap is wrong intent. Sight is objective, defined as of or having to do with an object external, uninfluenced by emotions or personal prejudices. When one is missing a sense from the mental processing, they will come across and have a shallow concept of things. Emotion, present, context, distort, communication, positive and negative emotions. Touch, towards, distorts by amplification. Distortion is done to make a subtitle of the generalization. Present, knows and asks who. Touch is subjective. Quantum leap is God, context, space. Intuition, actions, present, asks and knows which, and distorts by diminishing context and space. Relationships and the way things relate. Intuitions, energy is objective. Quantum bridge is self. When one is missing information from one of these senses, they will have a constricted use or application of things. Intuitions, actions, distortions by diminishing to make generalizations. Asks and knows which. Body, future, content, generalize, taste, beliefs about character, skill, competence, capability, qualities of being, generalized by sameness, chops off other parts to generalize. Asks and knows how. Quantum bridge is life, content. Matter, body, physical. Taste is subjective. Smell, beliefs about the nature of things, the way things work, beliefs about doings and skill. Asks and knows where. Generalizes by differences. Quantum bridge is death, content, matter, body, physical. Smell is objective. When one is missing information from one of these senses, they will have a narrow structure of things. The seventh sense, the sense of self and or time, is the wholeness, the totality of all the senses. It is the great I am, the chi, and knows and asks when. This represents when the other six senses have completed their cycle successfully. Do not be deceived by the deceptions of your senses. The subconscious, by its very structure, patterns and processes, nature, using data compression programs, changes the actual sensory data as it processes it prior to placing it into subconscious models, programs, or allowing it to even come into conscious. Take, for example, the sense of sound. Sound is used in the subconscious to create our values, ethics, and meanings, their models and programs. Sound is one of the senses where past memory and its models and programs are stored. One of the many data compression patterns for the sense of sound is to delete the sound data based on sameness of the sound. Sound in the subconscious is frequencies. So, the conscious access results of just this one data compression process. On just two functions of the sense of sound results in our values. Ethics and meanings being deleted based on sameness, as well as our past memories being deleted based on sameness. Ever wonder or heard others say such things as, "Why do you keep repeating your past mistakes?" After a period of the repetitions, the past memory and values and meanings learned become the same, and subconscious doesn't freely just give the data to the conscious. Conscious has to make it. Learn the sensory firing order questioning process for each sensory personality and integrate the senses for wholeness through the firing order, higher functions of the senses and their primary question. Sound, values, ethics, and meaning what? Sight, ideas, reasons, and concepts, why? Touch, relationships and the way things relate, who? Energy, actions and intuitions, which? Taste, beliefs about character and processes, how? Smell, beliefs about strategies, where? Time, self, when? There is a certain firing order for the senses. Sound, what? Touch, who? Taste, how? Sight, why? Smell, where? Energy, which? Sight, why? Smell, where? Energy, which? Sound, what? Touch, who? Taste, how? Touch, who? Taste, how? Sound, what? Energy, which? Sight, why? Smell, where. Energy, which. Sight, why. Smell, where. Touch, who. Taste, how. Sound, what. Taste, how. Sound, what. Touch, who. Smell, where. Energy, which. Sight, why. Smell, where. Energy, which. Sight, why. Taste, how. Sound, what. Touch, who. The sensory firing order affects our conscious experience. 1. First and fourth sense fired are reference points. 2. Second and fifth sense fired are decision points. 3. Third and sixth sense fired are motivation points. When the subconscious does a complete neurological sequence of firing, conscious has access to all the data regarding the topic. The human senses represent different aspects of our lives and our subconscious processings. Sound is processed by the subconscious to keep information about our values, our ethics, and things of meaning in our lives. The subconscious processes bits of sound information by deleting the information by sameness. When the same sound bits come into the subconscious over and over, the subconscious will automatically delete the same sound for conscious access. This is the reason the sound of a train, when you live by the track, seems to disappear after a period of time. Also, if you work in a factory, it might seem loud at first, but over a period of time, the sound goes into the background. Sight is processed by the subconscious to keep information about our ideas, reasons, and concepts in our lives. The subconscious processes bits of sight by deleting the information by difference. This makes it more difficult to identify sights which are not common or a new item at first. The subconscious does continue to process the new sight data, but keeps it from conscious access until it is repeated over and over to a point of sameness in the subconscious. Touch is processed in the subconscious for conscious use of information regarding our relationships and the way things relate. The subconscious processes bits of touch information by distorting the information by amplification. So things we experience through our sense of touch is actually distorted from how it actually is being amplified in the subconscious before coming to a conscious awareness level. This is why we can consciously experience goosebumps, chills, butterflies through our sense of touch. It is also the reason, based on the conscious functions of relationships and how things relate, that we can expect more than what we actually get from a relationship, and the reason we think that one thing relates to another when it does not have anything to do with the other thing. Touch is processed in the brain, and then through the central nervous system on the middle right side of our bodies. Energy is processed in the subconscious for conscious to have access to information about actions and to be able to take actions and know actions taken and actions to take. Energy and action is also consciously used to access our intuitions. The subconscious processes energy and intuitions by distorting the bits of data, by diminishing the energy, thereby diminishing the conscious awareness of actions and intuitions. This subconscious processing for conscious use of diminishing energy, action, and intuition causes conscious to constantly question and or doubt about the actions, energies, and intuitions. Energy is processed in the brain and then through the central nervous system through the mid-left side of our body. Taste is processed in the subconscious, and the information is used consciously for beliefs about character. One of the ways the subconscious processes taste bits of information is to generalize it based on sameness. Generalizing the bits of taste information by sameness causes the conscious to naturally notice generally same character traits. This is how we naturally notice, even in people who may actually be very different from ourselves, in others about character traits. This processing also causes us to disregard on a conscious level different character traits in others. Smell is processed in the subconscious for conscious use of information about the way things work, the beliefs about the way things work, and the functions of doing things. This is where the sense of smell plays a role in our ability to make and manage money. People with a good sense of smell are good at making money. The subconscious processes smell bits of information by generalizing the information by difference. So we notice different smells quickly on a conscious level. Homes will have a natural smell about them. and we are naturally prone to notice other people's home smell, but not our own, even when we have been out of our own home for some time. Time and or self is a sense I have been working with for several years now. We have a sense of self or a sense of time even when no other human senses are active. People will have either a sense of self or a sense of time. When we have a sense of self, we are aware of our thoughts and feelings and know clearly our doings and have a good feeling about ourselves. However, when we have a good sense of ourselves, we have little to no sense of time, to the point that many people I know, when they are experiencing a strong sense of self, and you ask them what time it is, their general response is one of not even knowing what you have said. Like, time? Oh, time. I don't know, and vice versa. We can have a good sense of time and have no other sensory experience on a conscious level and have no idea even who or what, let alone how, nor sometimes where we are, or a microsecond in time when asked how we're doing. But we can tell you within a few minutes of what time it is without hardly even thinking about it. There are other aspects of functions regarding just our different human sensory processing in the subconscious that have tremendous effect on our conscious functions and awarenesses. The main point here is the subconscious is processing not only body functions, but also conscious experiences for us before we even know it has. The different functions of the subconscious regarding the manner it processes the different sensory experiences has a tremendous effect on our conscious experiences of things. Still, the conscious can override the subconscious regarding these sensory experiences. It's mostly been that we were not even aware of the subconscious processings of this and other informations. Still, conscious has tremendous ability to override the subconscious responses, whether programmed or born with it. This conscious ability to override subconscious has oftentimes been referred to as willpower, inner strength, determination. Those little thoughts that just pop into your head or those feelings that just hit you sometimes, these and most all other aspects of ourselves are just programs in our subconscious. Programs that we were not necessarily born with. Programs that we created in our conscious mind, with our conscious thought. Oftentimes, these conscious thoughts are simple sentences of just a few words. Sentences like, well, that was sure dumb. I sure don't want to feel that again. If I ignore this long enough, it just won't matter, or it will go away. Thoughts that are going on in our own subconscious minds on a regular and sometimes more than regular basis. Thoughts that to us seem quite simple, yet thoughts to the subconscious are commands. Orders given about the ways of dealing with different life sensory experiences. Well, don't tell nobody about that. I can't believe in that. That hurts. Nobody acts that way. Damn, I hate when that happens. These, even though simple conscious thoughts and sentences we or others may speak, all of these words put together in sentences, are taken in the subconscious as orders, commands, directions for the way we as conscious beings choose to have the subconscious handle the information for us. These thoughts and other verbal and often nonverbal responses are used in subconscious to put together for future conscious use. This way we don't have to wonder again and again, or to be evaluated again and again, or judge again and again whether different sensory experiences are fun, good, pleasant, bad, regrettable for us. We can just go on about our lives and the subconscious will give us the information back whenever the sensory input comes in, and bang, we got the thought over and over and over again. Being aware of subconscious functions is not a conscious function. Conscious does not have to be aware of the heartbeat, breath, nor any other body functions. Nor does conscious keep track of or even be aware of subconscious functions and processes regarding the conscious functions where we are aware.